Warning, this podcast is produced by Metaverse Ventures Entertainment. It contains unsolicited and heavily biased opinions which are solely the views of the individuals involved. It does not include investment advice of any kind, and you are responsible for undertaking your own financial, including tax liability research relevant to your own individual circumstances.
Now, moving on to the how do you use segment for this week, I've put that down as neighborhood ratings and collection spawning, like basically neighborhood ratings, and the idea of neighborhood spawned collections was what kickstarted Upland Development United and the whole node process and everything like that. It all started from that little bit of a tidbit of information that we had in one of the very early posts from Upland. There was a lot of information in the Reddit post that's got a lot of people scratching their head, and there's been a lot of debates and chat within the UDU server, various other servers, within the Reddit post itself, and also within the UCN channel and this, that, and the other place. So it's good to see that it's out there and getting talked about. I will bring this up because it's quite important that we go to the primary source. So yeah, why they chose to do Reddit, I'm not sure. They seem to be pushing Reddit. I personally, I've used Reddit from way back when, the game development days, but I hate Reddit. It's just a nightmare. But it is what it is. So the Upland post was, what the hell are neighborhood ratings? And then they run through a whole list of things. What was most important to everybody was, so how do we create value as far as spawning the actual collection? And there was 5 points here that they touched on. So the first point was dedicated spark hours for building structures per property. So I don't know, did anyone want to chime in there on what that means or could mean? Feel free to jump on here. This isn't just for me to run my mouth. I've been running my mouth off here, there, and everywhere. So if you've got something to say about any of this, jump in. No. So basically, with dedicated spark hours, we were unsure if this was going to include, existing spark hours or future spark hours. Basically, it appears that it's going to include everything encompassing. So all of the spark hours that have been used for building structures, ornaments, anything to do with what's being developed in the node. It's a tricky one because one of the points I raised is that this has a finite limit to it. There are limits here. That there is only so much property that can be developed. There's a limit to how much outdoor decor can be put on per property. So it seems like we're all racing towards a final number. And then the way the rating system works out that they're putting together, your percentage will actually start to drop, and you will lose your neighborhood. What are they, like rarity level, like limited and all that sort of stuff. Now, I'm not going to dive into all of that because there's so many details with all of that stuff there. You can check out this Reddit post to dive into that more yourself. Number of residents with a designated home address per property. That's a pretty good one. That's going to see which areas are the most active. It is a bit tricky that, so many of us now are involved in so many different projects. It would be great if we could nominate one residential home address in each individual city. Cheese, I see you got your hand up.
With the dividends dropping on a regular basis and going to be basically closer and closer to like not even worth it, why are we even caring about becoming a collection?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of the early gloss or the carrot, I guess. A lot of the shine has been taken off with this announcement.
So will it be like more of a gloating kind of thing, or hey, look, I have this title?
Potentially. It will be cool. Like if you can develop your node or your neighborhood to the point where it reaches ultra rare status, that's pretty epic unto itself. But that's, once you hit that goal, the only way is down. Now, some people love that aspect of it that I've been chatting to. They love that there is kind of a goal that you can eventually work towards. I'm not sure, but it is It is very much a kind of, I don't know, a chest thumping kind of deal. It was pretty eye-opening to see when this kind of neighborhood versus neighborhood, because I mean, we assumed that we were going to be getting a kind of set level of like milestones we needed to reach. And then once we reach those, your neighborhood collection would spawn and then you could upgrade it. We had no idea that this was going to be a neighborhood versus neighborhood kind of battle, basically. So that's an aspect that came out of left field. Although looking back, as far as, you know, the Spud Wars and what happened in various things, it seems like that's the angle Upland has been kind of subtly pushing for a while. I personally, I really dislike that neighborhood versus neighborhood aspect of it. You know, you only have to listen to the way Dak and Shaq were talking about, you know, communities, neighborhoods, different projects getting together, working together. And that's what started nodes. Like the term node was started by myself and another player who had individual neighborhood projects in San Francisco coming together, finding ways to work together, collaborate together. And that's the same now with Cheese and, you know, Aquatics and Musita and everybody in Uplander, everybody that has a UDU node. We're all about helping each other. Well, essentially with this system, we're going to be pitted against each other. You know, we're going to be fighting against each other. And like I said, it was pretty eye-opening to see the shield banging and the drum beating and the foaming of the mouths that kind of kicked off in a lot of different servers where people just looking, you know, already discussing how can we go and sabotage other projects to try and boost our own. I mean, to me, that goes against everything that nodes were created for. I don't know. So we'll see. Number of MetaVentures per property now. Finsky rates this. This is one of the biggest, stickiest aspects of it all. There's a few issues here. One of the major issues is that some neighborhoods, they don't have the capacity within them to be able to, you know, to add many MetaVentures. There's some neighborhoods that don't have room for many apartments, or they certainly don't have rooms for showrooms and this, that, and the other thing, which severely limits what they can do. So that's one aspect that maybe that could be addressed in future with the long kind of teased merge property feature. It's one of those things you can't hold your breath on though. But the stickiest, greasiest kind of point is that Upland has full control over who gets approved for a MetaVenture. I know there are several people that have applied for MetaVentures in UDU nodes, and you don't get an answer as to why you've been rejected. You just get ghosted. So if you're lucky enough to get approved, you get an email say congratulations. But if you don't get approved, there's no explanation as to why. So there's no way that you can work towards, you know, fixing up or improving what you could do to resubmit. Without that, a lot of people have got a bad taste in their mouth and they're kind of just thrown their hands up in the air and given up on the whole situation. To me, that's the kind of stickiest part of that particular point. I don't know. Finsky, you're in chat. Is there anything you wanted to add? No. As I said, feel free to chime in. It's not just about my biased opinions. So yeah, that's for me, that's a bit of a sticky one, but we'll see how that plays out in time. The next one's kind of tricky as well. Dedicated spark hours for outdoor decor items per property. We have an outdoor decor showroom in Midtown Terrace. We have an outdoor decor business. Technically, we could just produce outdoor decor out the wazoo and just load up every property that I have in Midtown Terrace with outdoor decor like a maniac. How are they going to adjust that number? Like if there is several showrooms all storing several hundred outdoor decor items, is that going to be included in the rate? No idea at this stage. So I don't know. That's a tricky one as well. And the last one, total monthly community pool UPEX contribution per property. Now, at first, nobody had a clue what this meant. It turns out that what that means is, all of your fees basically. So think of your send fees. Think of if you sell properties, there's buy and sale fees. If you have a metaventure, it will include metaventure dues, and potentially in future if you've got events, racing, and this, that, and the other thing. So it's all the money that goes to the community pool. Bit of a tricky one, this one too, is most node projects that I'm aware of, at least, they want stability in their markets. So one of the major ones that's taken straight out the cards is buying and selling. A lot of node projects have either purposely raised the floor or just by the nature of that they're popular or whatnot. So the floor has been raised. So there's not going to be a lot of sales action there. I don't know how that's going to play out. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't know. I got a lot of nodding, a lot of head shaking on the screens. Anybody else have any 2 cents? Anybody have an opposite view? Anybody super pumped? Are you one of the people frothing at the mouth?
I got turned down for a Block Explorer meta venture. So like you said, that did leave a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth, but I am going to apply for a Decor meta venture when I have the opportunity to do that. I am still curious if we're going to be able to sell Decor from the large showroom.
Yes.
I know we are.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm building too. Thank you so much.
It's as far as I'm aware, it goes that way, but it doesn't go the other way. So you can build Decor in a small, medium, and large, but the cars, I believe,
Medium
definitely
and
the
large.
large. I'm not sure about the medium.
Medium and large.
Medium and large.
Well, you guys might just see little Marty D's in yards coming up soon. That's all I'm saying.
I will buy one.
Absolutely. Now you said you got rejected. Did you get an email to say why or anything?
No, I did not. And you know what? I commissioned the artwork, the font, and I figured they were going to roll it out the way that it was worded, and I was moving ahead. I've run a couple of businesses IRL, and this is why I originally got involved in Upland, was to roll this out. Everyone knows I love shrubs, so
Yeah. So
although shrubs will be involved with STEM, like everybody said, so I might, whatever, just decor.
Nice. Well, we've kind of found a sneaky way around that with some of our outdoor decor that I just submitted last night. So keep your peepers out for that one. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Hopefully we get a bit more transparency from Upland about exactly why or why not certain metaventures are approved or not approved. That'd go a long way to help addressing some of these issues. And just catching up on chat, Finsky said, they, meaning Upland, can control who gets the opportunity to have a metaventure. So how is it possible to raise neighborhood ratings with metaventures if people are turned down? Application processes should be automatic and equal for everyone, not in the hands of the team. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I mean, we know of some people that have several metaventures approved already. So
I was going to jump in and say something.
Oh,
hey, Doc, go for it.
Hey, so I'm driving, so please forgive me if it's a delay, but I was going to say, I don't think that they honestly have a way of approving or disapproving people's metaventures requests, because I'm still trying to figure out for the life of me, how is it that some people get multiple metaventures approved where you got people who don't have any?
Yeah.
And so that's why I say I don't think that they have any structure on how they approve or disapprove.
Well, that's kind of even more terrifying, I think, if it's just throwing darts at the dartboard. Yeah. We'll have to wait.
No, I definitely agree.
We'll have to wait and see. And like I said, there is a lot of information out there. There's a lot of opinions being thrown around, and it's good to get. And I know personally, like I put my opinion out there and got a lot of good feedback in both the UCN channel and the Reddit post and DMs and whatnot. So it's always good to get the other side of things as well. I don't really have any hard and fast opinion on it, other than I just think the whole general neighborhood versus neighborhood vibe, it just goes completely against what the whole node thing was built on. So, that's a bit of a sticky one for me personally, as the egotistical self-proclaimed node father.
Sorry, and if I can jump on that piggyback,
Absolutely.
I'm just thinking of how many nodes have sprung up in the past few months, let alone how many will spring up by the time they actually institute the the collections. And I'm just curious, is there one like UR collection for these? And at which point, if you have 100 nodes near you, that's a small amount.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. I mean, Midtown Terrace is the leader as far as percentage developed. Radish had put a good video out about that, but that's only one of many stats. So while we might rate very high on that stat, there's other stats that we might rate very low on. So there's no guarantees here. So we just got to wait and see how it all plays out. It might be something completely out of left field that grabs the first collection. We just don't know. I mean, part of that's half the fun of it all. Like I said, it's just the whole. We could still have that. We could have all of that aspect, but without this neighborhood versus neighborhood, drama-inducing kind of cocktail that they're mixing up.
Well, I mean, what I was thinking here for a second though too, if they do start to form, something where it's nodes versus nodes, you can think of an implication later on towards it being, games and races. Node shows up versus nodes. Yeah. I'm just thinking that this might be laying the tracks down for that more than actually, like Tease was saying earlier with the, with the collections, if they're steering away from, the rent being our main source of income at this point, I believe that's, then, what is the incentive? We're not allowed to trade anymore with the, the props. But so my main thing is, I think they're going to start to focus as these other layer 2 jobs are rolling in here. I think, it's going to be bowling, whatever, Century City versus, Woodhood for bowling, and you have to think they have to go that way. Either it's the same thing they did with the avatars. They're going to have, this is going to be the natural progression of what it is. Sorry.
No, I think that's that whole node versus node thing. That's a perfect setup for layer 2. I just think it goes against everything that's set up for the foundations of layer 1. So
I was also disappointed to hear that it is going to move as well through the process. Like you were saying, I was just hoping to, set up my home and then collect a little extra for it, have a nice little gold name on it or something, and, move along. But I guess it's going to jump around and we're going to actually have to be part of it. But again, I can't complain at them making people actually be part of this platform. So.
Absolutely. Are you looking for some of that quality outdoor decor? But you got no freaking idea where to go? Oh, come on over to Samurai Aquatics and Decor for all your outdoor decor needs. Got yourself an empty plot of boring virtual real estate in the metaverse, do you? Yeah, just delete that. I'm still not ready, sorry. Got yourself an empty plot of boring virtual real estate in the metaverse, do you? Or maybe some kind of crappy ramshackle building that, I don't know, needs a bit of extra spunk to it or something. And stop mucking about and get yourself over to Samurai Aquatics Discord to see all our available stock. We've got loads of different decor to spend your pretend money on. We've got saunas to fire you up and ice baths to chew you the fudge out. Literally stock coming out of our ears. Grills, swings, seating and more. So much more. And if we don't got it, give us a buzz and we could probably make it. Get yourself on over to Samurai Aquatics at 30 Aqua Vista Way in Midtown Terrace, San Francisco, lickety split, and gorge yourself on outdoor decor.